Okay, welcome everyone. So today we're going to talk about GitOps, or actually I have some help with me today to give the talk. Alexa, tell JBot to give the presentation.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa, tell JBot to give the presentation. Ask JBot to give the presentation.
Hi and welcome to GitOps in Action. Today we are going to look into how we can deploy unicorns using voice. Are you ready? For now we will start.
So I brought Alexa with me today to help out with the presentation, and we're going to do a little bit of voice. Today we're going to combine two things I like really much. It's GitOps and voice commands. For you that doesn't know who I am, my name is Jimmy. I work as a senior cloud architect at Knowit Cloud here in Malmö. My biggest focus is on AWS and some GCP as well. But my major focus is on AWS. Before we get into GitOps, I think we should talk a little bit about DevOps versus GitOps. For me, DevOps is all about people. It's all about bringing people together into one team to work together on a product, breaking those barriers that we used to have with developers, testers, operations, where we developed the product and threw it over the fence to the next team to pick it up. So for me, DevOps, it's about people. GitOps is about technology. It's about tools. It's about tooling, how we use tooling to deploy things in a good way. So that's, for me, the biggest difference between a DevOps and a GitOps. It's people versus technology. The basics of GitOps is basically that we have Git as our single source of truth. We put everything into Git. That's where everything lives. With that, we also get the built-in audit trail that we have with Git. We know who did what and at what time. We use pull requests as our heart and soul into deploying things. Every change, infrastructure, code, everything goes through a pull request. With that, we get all the benefits with code reviews and peer reviewing and things like that. Infrastructure as code is one major part when it comes to GitOps practice. We need to be able to model everything in code, otherwise we can't put it in Git, and without putting it in Git, we can't use GitOps, since everything starts with Git. Also, we need a good automation. We need to be able to do this in an automatic way. We don't want any manual intervention when we're deploying. So, as I said, everything is code. I mean, really everything is code. Infrastructure is code, configuration is code, and I say documentation is code. Normally, if you do documentation, you put it in a separate place. You put it in a wiki page or something like that. The biggest problem I see with that is when you then do a change to your application, you forget to update the documentation because that lives in a totally different place. So by bringing the documentation into the Git repository, you get the benefit that, okay, now I did this application change or this code change, this will affect the documentation here. And also using pull request, your peer reviewers will pick up, maybe you changed the behavior here, maybe you need to update the documentation as well. So I say, put your documentation into the Git, put it close to the application. The closer to the application, the more easy it is to update and to remember to update. The same goes with configurations. You will like to have different configurations for different environments, version control in Git, so you know, okay, this is my dev environment, this is my test environment, this is my production. So you have the configuration and the different behaviors version controlled in Git as well. There is one thing you should not put in Git, and that is secrets. So no one know, leave this room and go home and say, well, I listened to this guy at Foo Café and he said I'm gonna put everything in Git, so let's check in on my passwords. No, don't check in your password, don't check in your secret key, don't check in your AWS credentials, nothing. Don't check in your secrets. There is experiments being done, and has been done a couple of times. I have a plan to do it myself, haven't had the time yet. That is, if you take your AWS credentials, your secret access key, and your secret, and you put that into a public Git repository, in GitHub, for example, the average time between that change being merged and those credentials trying to access your account, attacking your account to spin up servers, is around 20 seconds. It takes AWS 10 minutes to detect this. They scan it themselves. It takes them 10 minutes. The average attack takes 20 seconds. So you have 9 minutes, 40 seconds for the attacker to spin up a lot of EC2 instances and other machines. So keep them secret. They are secret, so keep them away from Git. Use a secure vault. Use HashiCorp Vault. Use AWS Secrets Managers or any other secrets manager. There are a lot of them out there. Use one of those. Encrypt the password, store it in there, and then in Git you store the reference. So my password is my secret password, and just a reference to it, and you pull it out from the secret vault every time. And you don't do that in your CI/CD pipeline, because then you have the password anyway. So the application fetches it when it needs it. That is the most important thing. So no secrets now in Git, right? As I said, everything starts with Git, and I really mean everything, even your POCs. So if you start a POC, model it in infrastructure, put it into Git already from the beginning. Make sure it's a part of the automation, because it's more than one time we have done a POC, we think it's a POC, then the managers come and say, hey, that is really good, let's put it in production. It's a POC, yeah, whatever, it works. So if you do that, okay, we have done all of this manual stuff, but just a POC, you suddenly end up with something that, okay, I can't control this monster anymore. So even for a POC, I would say, put it in the Git. Make sure your version control, use infrastructure as code, even for the small things. You will gain from that. With this, we need to model everything as code, infrastructure as code. You need to model our service as code, and we need to do this even when it's hard. We had a case when I was working at Sony for many, many years ago. We were trying to create an AWS user pool, and we did everything. Then we want to hook up some Lambda functions to that, and we used CloudFormation, and CloudFormation did not have support for that at the moment. So that was time to try this over and over again, how we're going to do this. And the configuration for these user pools are, you can't change it. So you have to deploy it everything all the time. So we couldn't just change it using like the CLI or something. Then we needed to pull down the configuration, change everything, and then push everything back again, which made that really hard. So in the end, I was staring at the screen, going, okay, let's just screw this. Just do it manually instead. We write an instruction, you do this, and everything works. We put in the extra effort. We did it automatically, and we got it working. And when we deployed an environment for the third time, I was pretty glad that we did. And I think the guys working with me, sitting up on that corner, could agree with me. So even when it's hard, make sure you model it in one way or another. If the tool you're using don't have support, try and find another tool. Automation. We need good automation. We need to be able to deploy everything over and over again in the exact same way, and it must work flawless. We shouldn't have any SSHing into a machine, trying to deploy a new version of the application, that will break. If I give manual instructions on how to set up and deploy an application to 100 people, I will guarantee to get 100 different looking environments. Because people do steps in the wrong order, they don't read the instructions carefully enough, and they do different things. So if I give 100 people the instructions, I will get 100 different environments. There might be some environments are almost the same, but there will be some differences. So that is why we need a really good automation. And when I say it must work flawless, meaning that when I kick off an automation, it must run everything to the end, and the environment must have been spun up. At my previous job, we had invested a lot of money into our own homegrown automation tooling. Really good tool. Nothing wrong with the tooling. It was a fantastic tool. The problem was that the instructions that we had written into that tool to deploy our environments was not that good. So around 60% of the time, the environment actually didn't spin up. So to be able to get that working, you had to go into the environment manually and fix things. And basically, there were only 2 or 3 people in the department that knew how to fix one of these broken environments. Meaning that every time there was something going that breaks, those guys had to go in and fix it. It created a lot of work for them. It created a lot of frustrations because you couldn't create your environments. And it led to one thing. It led to people starting to treat their environments like pets and not like cattle. So as soon as you had this environment running, you took care of it, you nursed it. I don't want it. I'm probably not going to use it for like 3 or 4 more weeks, but I need to keep it because otherwise I don't know if I get a new one. So we wasted money and we created a lot of frustration and a lot of meantime. So your automation must work flawless. Make sure that everything just flows. As I said, pull requests, that's the heart and soul. We create the pull request without change. It's an infrastructure change. If it's the application change, we create the pull request and we put it in. We get code review from our peers. You will detect and find flaws that someone didn't think of. That's why we do code reviewing. And I think you should do pull requests even for your most critical change. So when everything is burning and everyone is screaming, do the pull request, because that is when you make mistakes. So how do we then prevent like managers jumping up and down, screaming at us, as ignore the pull request, just put it in? We lock down the master branch, of course. You can't merge to master branch without going through a pull request. So the tooling prevents us. We can just tell everyone that, oh, sorry, I can't do that. The tooling don't allow me to do that. So we put guardrails in. That is really important. We create guardrails so humans can't make mistakes. So drifting. As I said, Git, that is the single source of truth. That is how our environments look. But what if the environment actually doesn't resemble the map anymore? What if something has broken in our automation, or if someone had access to the production environment and did a manual change? We need to be able to detect that. We need to be able to detect the drift. Most tooling like Terraform, CloudFormation, and so on has a drift detection, so they can check, okay, my environment doesn't look like the map anymore. Then what we do, depends on the case, of course. We need to make sure that we end up in a solid, good state again. How we do that, it depends on the situation. Did someone go in and do manual change? Okay, maybe we should put that manual change into Git then. If was it a deployment that broke? Okay, maybe we just need to redeploy everything again. So it depends on the situation. One way to try to minimize the risk of someone going in and doing manual change is, of course, don't give humans access to production. Give them read access if they need to look at something, but remove the write permissions. That should go through your automation, right? Keep humans away. Humans make mistakes. That's fine. I have no problems people making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. We need a blameless culture. But we create guardrails to help people not making mistakes. So, CI/CD pipelines when it comes to GitOps. We like to work with temporary environments. So we create temporary environments for each change we do. With that, we can validate the change in a real environment and make sure everything works. So for each change, we create a temporary environment that we can run our tests in. There are two different flavors then of CI/CD. We have the push-based CI/CD, which is a flavor most people are familiar with, meaning that we create a change, our CI/CD pipeline picks up the change, create an artifact, and then pushes that artifact onto our environment. And we have the pull-based, that is not that common, but it's born out of GitOps theory. And that is our CI/CD pipeline just creates the artifact, stores the artifact, and then the environment pulls down that artifact and deploys it into itself. The good part with the pull-based CI/CD is that your CI/CD pipeline no longer need access to like your production environment. Your CI/CD pipeline need access to the source code. It need access to be able to build the artifact and push the artifact into your artifact store. Then it stops. The environment then pulls the artifact and deploys to itself. Meaning that your CI/CD pipeline can't do a deployment by accident to the incorrect environment. And you don't need to give this CI/CD pipeline your AWS secrets or your GCP secrets because it doesn't need it, because the environment deploys to itself. The pull is triggered by that you adding a new artifact to the artifact store. If you then use a polling mechanism or a pushing mechanism, depends on what you're using. This pattern is born out of Kubernetes. Kubernetes has this operator pattern built in, so a pull-based deployment was born out of Kubernetes. And GitOps was born out of Kubernetes applications. As I said, this is a basic push-based CI/CD pipeline. Source code triggers a build pipeline, creates an artifact, stores it in an artifact store. Our deploy pipeline picks it up and deploys it into our dev, test, prod environments. The pull-based is more like this. We have the build pipeline that creates an artifact, stores it in the artifact store, and then we have our operator running inside of our environments, pulls down it and deploys it into itself. The problem with that, it's really hard to do a pull-based deployment into a temporary environment that doesn't exist, because there's nothing to deploy to. So I like to combine them to create a pattern looking like this, that I have a pipeline that pushes onto a temporary environment, and then I have a pull-based operator that works on my dev queue production environment. The environments that's always running, always been there. So, to be able to work this way, to be able to deploy code this way into my own AWS environments, I need an operator. So I built an operator, and it's called JBot, of course. JBot is consisting of several different components. Code is stored in AWS Code Commit. I use Amazon Event Bridge to detect changes. That changes will trigger step functions that will create a new build using AWS Code Build. That will use CloudFormation in this case to create a new temporary environment. When the build is done, that will trigger a new event in Amazon Event Bridge, and we kick off a new step function that adds a comment back to the created pull request with a link to our temporary environment. The parts that are in the green box here are actually not part of JBot. JBot don't really know how you're going to build your application. That's only you that knows that. JBot coordinates the flows. So the parts in the green box you need to create specifically for your application, then hand that information to JBot to be able to coordinate this. Okay, you could you can use this for using serverless application lambdas, or you can use it for Docker applications, or I use it for my own private blog, for example, and that is a simple static file. So JBot really don't care about what you're deploying, since it's just a coordination tool. You know how to build everything, and that's what's in the green box. So you need to create that build script specifically for your application. When we close the pull request, we trigger new events into EventBridge that will create and build our artifact and store that into AWS S3 at the moment. Don't have support for anything else right now. Probably it will change in the future, but right now it's only S3. I have this case that your application creates two different code builds. One that will get the notification that it's time to destroy your temporary environment. You don't need it anymore. You close the pull request, so you need to tear down the temporary environment you created in the previous step, and you need a code build that creates the artifact and outputs and information about that artifact that can be picked up by JBot and stored in S3. When we have a new version available in S3, that will trigger a Lambda function. The only thing that Lambda function does is actually restart the step functions down in the left corner. Sometimes I hope AWS will add a trigger directly to step functions without passing Lambda, but doesn't look like it. So that's what's happening here. A new artifact is created that triggers a Lambda function that will inform a step function that will trigger the code build that is running inside of your environment till it's time to deploy. So here we're using a push to the operator inside that environment. It's okay, there is a new version. Do your job, please. I often get the question, where can I find this? JBot is open source and it's available on GitHub. So if you like to check it out, just pull it down. Adapt it as you need it for your environments and your application. So, as I said, I like to combine this with my other favorite topic, voice and voice commands. So we're going to talk a little bit about Alexa skills, and the Alexa skill I built that will trigger things into JBot and into code commit. When you start building an Alexa skill, you will hear this phrase more than once. There was a problem with the requested skills response. That is Alexa's way of telling you that you did something wrong, that there was something wrong in your code. And everyone that works with Alexa skills hates this phrase. That is the worst thing.
Sure, skills. I recommend a popular skill called Survive the Gobi Desert. Will you make it? Do you want to try it, or pick a skill category?
No.
Do you want podcast skills?
No.
Sleep skills? Educational skills? Fitness skills? Relaxation skills? Or to hear more categories?
That's the biggest problem we have having the
Sorry,
echo connected during
Do you want
during my
podcast
talk.
skills? Sleep skills?
Alexa,
Educate.
shut up. That's guess it's the biggest problem having the echo installed during the talk. I should probably change the wake word to computer or something. Okay, there are jokes about this. There are T-shirts printed about this. So when you start, if you start working with skills for your Echo device, you will hear this more than once. When you build a skill, it's based on utterances and intents. An utterance is a sentence that you give to the natural language processor, like in this case, create pull request, merge pull request, deploy to production, and run tests, for example. Those utterances you then map to intents, like create pull request intent, merge pull request intent, and so on. So when you do this, more utterances you give to her, the better she is, of course. She needs training data over and over. So the more utterances you give for an intent, the better performance you will get out of it. You also have what's known as slots and resolutions. That is basically what here I say deploy to environment. I don't want to give an sample at utterances that is deploy to production, deploy to test, deploy to dev, and so on. You want to just, okay, I want to give deploy to and then a slot that I give it a name. And then can have synonyms like production, live, QA, and testing. So, and then the Echo will do resolutions on this and fill in the values and give that to your intent. To be able to do this really smooth, there is something that's called dialog delegation, meaning that I delegate all of the slot filling to the device. So she will ask me, okay, what is the name of the environment and things like that. It simplifies your code, and you don't need to write as much code as you had without it. So I built a skill for JBot. Basically look like this. You have your Echo device that talks to your skill that will trigger a Lambda function. That is my handler and my intent handler for this. And the handler will then either talk to JBot or it will talk directly to AWS code commit to be able to do different things. So the talk is called Inaction, right? So let's have some inaction then. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a change. Unfortunately, I have not taught her how to write code yet, so I need to do that myself. So let's see. Oops, maybe too big. You can see that, right? Good. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are a new cool startup. We rent out unicorns, and we have caught one unicorn named Luna, and she has wings as her special ability. Now we have actually been able to detect one more unicorn, and we need to add that into our very simple database of unicorns. This consists of a JSON file. So that is what we're going to do. And we have caught a unicorn named Gaia, and she has the special ability of speed. So we just add that. So, change done. And now we don't use hands anymore. Let's do this by voice then. Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
List all my open pull requests.
There are no open pull requests.
Okay, so no pull request. Let's create
How
one.
can I help?
Create a new pull request.
With what title?
Add Gaia.
What is the source branch?
Demo.
What is the destination branch?
Master.
Is it correct that I should open a pull request from demo to master with the title add a?
No.
So you can't make up your mind. Well, I will not create pull request add a.
No, because you heard it. Create the pull request.
With what title?
Add Gaia.
What is the source branch?
Demo.
Sorry, I couldn't handle that. Please try something different.
Create a pull request.
With what title?
Add Gaia.
What is the source branch?
Demo.
What is the destination branch?
Master.
Is it correct that I should open a pull request from demo to master with the title add Gaia?
Yes.
Pull request add Gaia has been created and has ID 25.
Stop.
Have a nice day.
So we have now opened a pull request. So just to show that I don't lie, we have pull request number 25. It's named add Gaia. And you can also see that Alexa actually understood that Gaia was a name. So we have a capital G. I didn't do anything to make that happen. It's NLU in the device that does that. What is happening now? JBot is running in the background. It will now start creating a temporary environment. We will get some activity here. You can see that we already have one activity, one comment coming in for JBot saying that we have now started this deployment of a temporary environment. It takes around 2 minutes. I have tried to speed it up even more, but we have to wait for that. And when that is done, we will have a new comment in here with a link to our environment. In the meanwhile, we can try something different. Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Run tests.
What is the environment name or pull request ID?
QA.
The following unicorns was found in environment test, Luna, with the ability, wings.
Stop.
Have a nice day.
So in our test environment, we only have one unicorn at the moment. We still only have Luna in that environment. And we were able to run some simple tests. We also saw that I told her that we were going to test the QA environment, and she responded, okay, let's test on the test environment. And that was what I'm talking about before, that they had synonyms for different slots. So that's what I had. I made synonyms that, okay, QA is the same as test. Let's see if we have still nothing. That was too bad. I was hoping it's going to be done. Okay, it's done actually, so we should have the comments soon. Yeah, now we have. So now we have a new comment. We can see the build logs, and we have links to that, and we have links to our test environment. Here I would like to have a nice looking picture saying that a badge saying that everything is passing, but there is a bug in the AWS console, so we don't get that nice looking picture. We only get the alternative text of passing. So, okay, let's test this environment then. Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Run tests.
What is the environment name or pull request ID?
25.
The following unicorns was found in environment PR25, Luna, with the ability wings. Gaia with the ability speed.
So we're pretty happy with that. It's right.
Sorry, I couldn't handle that. Please try something different.
Merge pull request.
What is the ID of the pull request?
25.
Are you sure you like to merge pull request 25?
Yes.
Pull request 25 has been merged by JBot GitOps Alexa skill.
Stop.
Have a nice day.
I have a bit problem with pronouncing JBot. So it'll be JBot.
Okay, here's Coinbase Bitcoin / Ethereum price.
No.
The Bitcoin price right now is
Alexa, stop.
9,300.
Give her something. Okay, so now we have merged this. That will trigger the next part of JBot. That is that we will start tearing down this environment. It will go away. We don't need it anymore. This pull request here should be closed. And yes, you can see I've been running this demo a couple of times just to make sure. I have a couple of resets and other things here. But we can see it's now actually merged. It has the status merged. So that is what has happened. The change, the pull request has been merged into the master branch. So we have a we will see that our stacks here in CloudFormation will start tearing down. One has already gone away, and the next one will soon go away. Now what we can do is we can wait for this to change to be propagated into our test environment, because what I've done in JBot is that when you close the pull request, I've given it information, okay, when this happens, you should do an automatic deployment to this QA environment. So that should be on its way already now. So let's see if it's done. Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Run tests.
What is the environment name or pull request ID?
QA.
The following unicorns was found in environment test. Luna, with the ability wings. Gaia, with the ability speed.
So I was not... Stop. So now we
Have a nice day.
have this changed, merged into the test environment. We have been able to run our tests using voice or whatever automatic test we've been running. So what we also can do is, Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Are my environments equal?
Please tell me the first environment to check the version for.
Test.
Please tell me the second environment to check versions for.
Production.
The versions running in test and prod are different.
Stop. So
Have a nice
we
day.
have not had an automatic deployment into production, so that is what we're going to do now. Of course, we're happy with the test environment, right? So should we try it? Hope you don't get tired of welcome to JBot. Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Deploy to production.
What is the source environment?
Test.
Are you sure you wish to deploy from test to production?
Yes.
Successfully started deployment of test version to prod environment.
Stop.
Have a nice day.
This will take around 30 seconds for the deployment to run into production. Should we see if we can check if the production environment already have only one? Alexa, open JBot.
Hi, JBot here. How can I help?
Run tests.
What is the environment name or pull request ID?
Production.
The following unicorns was found in environment prod. Luna, with the ability wings.
Only one unicorn, so the deployment is not done yet.
Sorry, I couldn't handle that.
I know that.
Please try something different.
run tests.
What is the environment name or pull request ID?
Prod.
The following unicorns was found in environment prod: Luna, with the ability wings; Gaia, with the ability speed.
Stop.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. So we're done. What we've done, we created a change using the keyboard, and then we had the entire flow with some testing using voice all the way to production. Is this something you would like to do live in your own production environments, in your own using voice to deploy everything? I don't know. Maybe not. It's a cool thing to do, and I think voice is one of the coming technologies that are really, really, really interesting. So that's why I built it. I know we had a talk a lot of times at Sony that we're going to take a little button, put it on the desk, and then someone just passes. Hey, what does that button do? Press it. So they press it. Okay, you deploy to production. This is basically the same. You could tell Echo to deploy to production. Is this something you want to do? I don't know. Probably not. It's fun, of course. But for now, it's just a test. The skill, the Alexa skill, is actually not open source yet. It will be open source within a couple of weeks. I'm still cleaning up my messy code before I want to send that out in the wild, so to say. And there will be more changes coming to JBot. The demo project I'm using will also go open source at the same time as the Alexa skill. Then if you do sign up for a developer account and have one of these Echo devices, or you just use your computer, that skill will automatically be deployed to your devices, so you can test it out. That was basically everything I had. My Twitter handle, my LinkedIn handle, and my blog. Follow me if you want to see some more updates or coming talks. So, thank you. That corner is not allowed to ask questions, by the way, the top floor there. Everyone else is allowed. Yeah, so the Alexa skill here, let's do it like that, so I can say Alexa. The Alexa skill is just, it's not deployed, so it's only in my, yeah, it's just for me, yeah.
How long between when you started the project and how long training time did you need?
For Alexa,
Yeah.
the NLU uses around 5 minute training. It doesn't need much more. That's the Alexa device is already trained. The NLU is already there. It's been trained by Amazon for a lot of time, but yeah, but that is basically no, you don't have to consider that building an device or a skill that is already taken care of by the Echo device. Yep. 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 So, if you heard me, I asked her a couple of times before the talk, but the time was, so that was just to make sure that I had an internet connection, because I needed that. And she will answer you that she doesn't know if she don't have an internet connection. So you need that to be able to send things to the cloud to get decoded. But you don't have to take care of that. That is taken care of by Amazon. So for a skill, the actual training time between you press build and the training complete is around 5 minutes. So that's not that much.
I actually thought of something like a presentation, whilst I might not like to use Alexa to control the pipeline. But like you said, voice technology is very interesting, and it could be nice to have a report on the whole pipeline.
Yep.
As when it's staging,
Yep.
as opposed to
Yep.
triggering build stage.
Yep. But I have built in support for this skill to give information about the pull request, like, okay, is it open, is it closed, how many pull requests are there, and so on. I didn't do a full demo of everything I've done into the Alexa skill now, but It's absolutely, that's one of the things that is really interesting to have her. And there is a possibility to do push to the echo devices. So when something happens, you can push information to the echo device, and it will start blinking, and then you can say, read my messages, and it will read message like you could have, we have an issue in production, or the pipeline is broken. Yep. No, I have not. That would be super fun. It's really super interesting to do. No, yeah. No, I have not tested that. That would be, yeah, that would be really, really fun. Actually, I have not tried that. It should be possible since the device should be able to talk to code commit, so I should be able to do it. But no, not tried it yet. No.
Alexa skill is your project, right?
Yep. Yep. JBot is my project, and the skill for JBot is my project. So it's okay. Yep.
So, but all except the Alexa services we run locally during this demo, or
No, everything running in cloud. So
everything in cloud?
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So it's only your Git that is local, so
Yep.
to say.
Yeah, that's correct.
And
Yep.
as soon as you have done push from there, it goes on the cloud.
Yep, that's correct.
Do you have any plans to be testing with the other colleagues?
Now we don't work together anymore, so no plans at the moment. Actually, no. That's right.
No, because I just think it would be interesting to see
Yeah.
one Alexa device, what kind of issues you run into
Yep.
one device.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do something like this, to have voice actually do controlling your pipeline, I think what you need is to have Alexa for business, meaning that the skill is only available for your company and not publicly available. Unfortunately, Alexa for business is only available in the US at the moment. Hopefully that change, because then you can do really interesting things like booking conference rooms and everything like that as well. But you,
This tech back in the day when dictation software
yep.
came out, and there were issues in a working environment, social issues like people different, saying things differently, and
Yeah.
it being interrupted differently. That's
Okay. That shouldn't be a problem actually now. She understands me. She understands my kids. She understands my wife. So it shouldn't be any issues. It's really good.
If there is no more question, nobody likes cold pizza, so just let's go for pizza now. And then you can
Yep.
talk to him afterwards or during the pizza.
Definitely. Thank you.